tonight on the world's most amazing videos. A race car bursts into flames and disintegrates into a million pieces. Plus, a deep sea diver gasps for air when a killer octopus tries to rip off his face mask. And a rodeo rider hangs on for dear life as he's dragged around the ring by a bucking bronco. Then, it's a sightseer's worst nightmare when a tour bus slams headfirst into a bridge. And an angry bull rages out of control and flies into the crowd. These are the incredible true life stories of people who face their most desperate hour and live to tell about it. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos.
British Columbia, Canada. 70 feet beneath the ocean's surface, diver Doug Pemberton and his friends come across an old shipwreck. They are unaware of the danger that lurks inside its rusty hull. An angry octopus is hiding in the shadows, stalking his prey. Suddenly, Doug is in a desperate fight for his life.
We came across one octopus in a den, and the next thing I knew, I had this octopus pancake to my face, and it was going to have me for lunch. It was trying to drag me into the den.
The beast wraps its powerful tentacles around Doug's head, threatening to crush the life right out of him. Then it uses its deadly suckers to pull the mask off Doug's face. Now he can't breathe.
He took my mask off, he took my regular air out of my mouth. I've never come across a more aggressive octopus.
Doug makes one final attempt to escape from the creature's vice-like grip. At last he's free. The defeated octopus retreats to its den, and Doug swims safely away, happy to be alive. Ogden, Utah. A car with 3 teenagers is pulled over for an expired registration. But as the driver looks for a place to stop, Trooper Donald Sagendorf notices that the front seat passenger is behaving in a suspicious manner.
Yeah, he acts like he's trying to hide something.
There was something that said something's not right. Something is not right with him, in particular, the right front passenger.
The trooper cautiously approaches the vehicle.
Hello there. Trooper Sagendorf for the Highway Patrol. The reason I want to visit with you is for the expired registration. I'm sorry. What's the scoop on it?
During this time, the passenger in the right front makes no eye contact.
But you don't have any picture identification, no school ID or anything like that?
The female driver fails to produce any identification, making the young man next to her even more nervous. Sagendorf decides to call for backup.
All right, hang tight just a few minutes.
Trooper Warren Nelson is patrolling nearby and responds.
Well, the fact that he called for backup at all even arouses your suspicions, because we don't call for backup unless we think there's something extra special with the stop.
When Nelson arrives, the 2 troopers size up the situation.
Would never make eye contact with me, you know, make the comment, what's that? Just being a little too, yeah. I want to pull him out, pat him down, see what the scoop is. License status here.
First, the troopers remove another passenger from the back seat. Then they frisk him for weapons.
Anything in the vehicle I need to be aware of? You guys are making me kind of nervous the way you guys are acting in there.
With the passenger away from the vehicle, the troopers approach the suspect in the front seat.
Get your hand out from your coat now.
But he pulls a gun.
Get it out now!
The troopers are forced into action.
When I saw the hand in the coat, it hit me that this is not good.
Get your hand out from your coat now. Get it out now!
The officers have no choice but to defend themselves. The female driver runs, avoiding the hail of gunfire. Even though he acted in self-defense, Trooper Nelson is still haunted by his decision to shoot back.
Right after I pulled the trigger and everything settled down, I was sick. You start doubting yourself. Did I do what's right? What did I do? It was a horrible feeling.
The shootout lasts only 4 seconds. The gunman is hit 6 times. Somehow, he survives. The suspect is convicted of attempted murder and put behind bars. Later, the troopers discover just how close they came to being killed. Fortunately, when the gunman pulled the trigger, his weapon jammed and couldn't fire. Thanks to this incredible stroke of luck, these brave cops managed to survive.
We were very lucky that night. Very lucky.
Get it out now!
Montgomery, Alabama. Chad Hughes is about to make his 3rd ride in the American Cowboy Rodeo.
This will be Chad Hughes, and he has cinched the finals.
His mother, Ronnie Cobb, cheers him on from the bleachers, but at the same time, she's worried.
It's a real concern that he'll get injured along the rodeo trail because you never know if he's going to come back home the way he left.
Here's a cowboy in the prime of his life that can really ride bucking horses.
Chad is riding a 1,200-pound bronco named Earthquake. He wedges his gloved hand into the rigging, then gives the signal for the gate to swing open.
Earthquake, former bucking horse of the year.
The wild horse charges into the ring.
Chad, right in time with this horse. Excellent ride so far. A little bit of a storm right at the end, but everything.
But suddenly, Chad finds himself in serious trouble. His hand is caught in the rigging and he can't let go.
Chad Hughes is hung to this horse. This is not the kind of horse you want to be hung to. This does not look good.
Charlie Lowry and David Phipps are the pickup riders. Their job is to pull a cowboy off his horse at the end of a ride. But now they're racing alongside Earthquake, trying to stop him.
The horse is hitting all over so far. Get to him, cowboys, if you can. Right now, the arena's filling up with cowboys. Everybody trying to get to him. David Phipps has got the horse. He steer wrestled the horse, got him by the nose. Now here comes everybody else for the rescue. In 30 years, I don't think I have ever seen a worse wreck than this one.
Time is running out. The pickup riders try to rein in the bronco, but Earthquake is moving much too fast.
He had kind of quit bucking and had just gone to running with Chad hollering and dragging under him. It was just hard to get him under control.
I hear him hitting the fence, and I know the horse is stomping him.
As the horse rounds the bend, Chad slams into the steel rail. His mother watches in horror as the bronco drags him mercilessly around the ring.
Hit this horse off. This does not look good.
The sound of it just, it was loud, and I just thought, goodness, he's going to be dead.
Finally, the rodeo hands surround the uninjured horse, but they don't know if Chad is still alive.
When I saw that they couldn't get him undone, the mother kicked in then. I've got to do something.
Ronnie tries to push her way into the crowd.
I don't know how I got into the rodeo arena, but I just knew that I had to get in there to Chad.
Oh, this doesn't look good.
But fearing that Chad may be dead, 2 cowboys pull her away.
Chad's mother was right in the middle of the whole deal, while the horse was still jumping around.
But Ronnie forces her way in.
When I got to him, he was conscious, but he was just, blood was everywhere, and he was choking.
Paramedics into the arena.
The medical team rushes in to carry Chad to a waiting ambulance.
Ladies and gentlemen, they got him on his feet, thank God.
But Chad doesn't want a stretcher.
To weather that kind of storm, you gotta be some kind of tough.
This cowboy wants to walk off himself.
I'm completely astonished that he came through that and walked away.
Moments later, with his mother at his side, Chad pulls off his neck brace. His ribs are cracked and his nose is broken. But he's lived to tell about his horrifying ordeal.
Well, what happened?
Well, he just made that circle around to the right, got me strung out on the end of my arm over there, and it was just a big wreck.
Chad will always be grateful to Charlie and David, the pickup riders who helped save his life.
I'm not going to lie to you, I was scared, but at the same time, I still had faith in those two guys. Charlie and David and the rest of the guys, they're the reason why I'm still here.
Coming up, a race car explodes into a giant fireball, trapping its terrified driver inside. And a Navy ship filled with tons of explosives slips off the dock and plunges into the sea. Then later, an angry bull goes berserk and flies into the stands. How will the terrified spectators survive? Find out when the world's most amazing videos returns.
Sacramento, California. Engines roar and tires screech as the National Hot Rod Finals get underway. Veteran driver Hans Cusel rolls to the starting line. At the green light, he floors it. Then, disaster. Up in the stands, Hans's girlfriend, Kay Toplakar, watches in horror.
It just exploded in a ball of flames. Everyone who had witnessed that accident was very concerned that Hans would be seriously injured, if not dead.
Despite his 30 years of racing experience, Hans cannot avoid the terrifying crash. It is incredible that he survives.
I knew there wasn't much I can do with it except hold on. At that time, way before I hit the guardrail, I knew I was in trouble.
As Hans roars down the track, he suddenly loses control. He fights to steer clear of the rail, but he can't.
When I impacted that car at the guardrail, that I was doing somewhere between 150 to 170 miles an hour.
Hans skids in a pool of oil left from an earlier mishap. As he accelerates, the rear tires spin out. His car smashes into the rail, flipping onto its side. Now he's caught in a fiery death trap, and there's no way out.
I saw sparks coming off in front of the car. I thought to myself, we're probably going to have a fire now. And then all of a sudden, you could hear the grinding of the car. When it was sliding down the racetrack, the body was coming off in pieces.
The hot rod disintegrates, and the fire burns itself out. Although Hans is in shock, amazingly, he is able to walk away from the wreck.
When I unbuckled myself, and I basically kind of rolled out of the car because the car was sideways laying on the ground. When the paramedics came over, that's when I finally realized what I just went through.
His car is a total loss, but Hans is thankful to be alive.
As bad as this wreck was, by rights, I should have been hurt. Maybe should have been killed. So I was very, very fortunate.
Darwin, Australia. A 217-ton Navy patrol boat, the HMAS Gawler, is ready to return to the sea after being repaired. But the platform that it's resting on has buckled under the weight of the massive craft, making a launch impossible. Even worse, the ship is loaded down with 10 tons of fuel and live ammunition. One slip in this explosive mixture could turn deadly for the thousands of people living and working nearby. Officials are concerned for their safety, when suddenly, the huge vessel slides into the water, taking a section of the dock along with it. Workers run for their lives, fearing the ship will explode. The boat is badly damaged and will eventually need over $1 million in repairs. But Navy Captain Bill Overton is thankful that no one was injured.
It wasn't the way that I intended it to happen, but the outcome was relatively positive.
The highly volatile situation ends without incident. And the people of Darwin will never know just how close they came to disaster. Melbourne, Australia.
Track is clear.
It's post time for the highly anticipated Great Eastern Steeplechase Final.
They're off.
The horses charge from the gate and race down the track through a treacherous course filled with obstacles.
Further back then, Taranui as they go to the next fence. Look at Me took over the running, and further
The steeplechase is by far the most challenging event in all of horse racing. Falls and injuries are common, but no one is prepared for what is about to happen to jockey Simon Mills as he approaches the hurdles in the home stretch.
Now, 3 more fences to go, and the bookies hope giving a big sight. Team Wolf, it's up by 2. Second, Sir Sagamore, who's nearly lost the rider. He's gone. The rider was unseated. In third placing, battling on there. Oh, he's still with that horse. He got dragged over the next fence, that rider.
Watch again as Simon is thrown from his horse. At first, he doesn't know what hit him.
Everything was happening too fast. My first thoughts were grave danger because I knew what was coming ahead.
Unable to pry his foot loose from the stirrup, the jockey is trapped as his horse violently drags him toward the next obstacle.
I was terrified when I realised he wasn't going to stop. The thoughts racing through my mind were broken backs, broken everything.
As the animal leaps over the wooden hurdle, Simon's body is catapulted into the air. But luckily, he bounces off the back of the horse running next to him.
If I'd gone straight to the ground, the fall would have been a lot more serious.
Amazingly, Simon suffers only a broken arm. Had he been caught beneath the horse's stampeding hooves, he probably would have been killed. Simon recovers, but he'll never forget that fateful day at the track.
Sagamore, who's nearly lost the rider. He's gone. The rider was unseated.
You know, you're probably 1,000,000 to 1 of ever getting over something like this.
Simon's been a long shot before, but this time he really beat the odds. At a local air show, paratroopers filled the sky with swirls of color. But suddenly, a gust of wind turns the dazzling display into a terrifying spectacle. Toronto, Canada. An elite squad from the Canadian Armed Forces soars through the air in a stunning exhibition of aerial acrobatics. Every landing is picture perfect. Then comes the highlight of their performance, the difficult quartet formation. But as the paratroopers separate and prepare to land, a change in the wind blows one of the divers into his teammate's parachute. They're tangled, and they can't get free. Mike Mountain and Kenneth Nunn crash onto a roof. Rescuers rush to their aid. The men aren't moving, and onlookers fear the worst. When rescue workers reach the first paratrooper, they help the man to his feet, much to the relief of the worried spectators. Moments later, his partner also stands. The men have survived their terrifying plunge. When they finally get back on the ground, it's amazing to see that the paratroopers are unharmed.
Okay, Mike? Oh, you're...
Up next, a mother and daughter are trapped in a burning high-rise, and there's no way out. Plus, brazen bandits storm a jewelry store armed with razor-sharp machetes. Then later, a tour bus is sliced in two when it crashes head-on into a bridge. When the world's most amazing videos can...
Pattaya Beach, Thailand. A raging fire has left a mother no choice but to hold her daughter out of a 15th-story window and let her go. The horrifying ordeal begins when a gas explosion rips through the Royal Hotel. Most of the guests are unaware of the furious blaze because the fire alarms and sprinklers are not working. Rochelle Stein-Salmi and her daughter Sauna are trapped in the inferno.
We heard people screaming outside the window, so I ran to our hotel door and opened the door thinking we're getting out of here. We were on the top floor. I'm sure I would have gone to the roof, which would have been the right thing to do, but the hallway was already full of smoke.
Rochelle decides to stay in their room and wait for help. For her daughter's sake, she forces herself to remain calm.
When I first found out, I had ran into the middle of the room, and I just said to myself, I'm gonna die. But my mom just kept me going.
He said, we will wait, they will put out the fire, and we will walk downstairs. And that's what I really thought would happen. But of course, the fire got out of hand.
Smoke quickly seals off the escape routes. They're trapped. Rochelle uses her cell phone to make a desperate call for help. Down below, firefighters attempt a rescue using a bucket truck, but their efforts fall short.
None of the equipment that they had there could reach up to the top floor.
The flames climb higher and higher with terrifying speed. A crowd gathered on the balcony of a nearby hotel can only watch in horror as every attempt to rescue Rochelle and Sauna fails.
I was unaware of time. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and not allowing myself, truly not allowing myself to really comprehend what was going on.
The room is now completely filled with smoke. Clutching the window and gasping for air, Rochelle knows that time is running out.
I just yelled. I was so angry, because I thought, we've come this far and we're not going to make it.
Just then, a rescue chopper reaches the roof.
And all of a sudden, we saw a rope dangling from our window. So we knew that this was our way out.
Using her daughter's teddy bear, Rochelle reaches out for the safety line. She's got it. Quickly, she places Sauna into the harness.
I do remember making eye contact with her and telling her, no fair falling. Making a little joke in that last minute, no fair falling.
The crowd cheers as the little girl is lifted away from the window and up to the roof. Now it's Rochelle's turn, but the harness gets twisted before she's safely strapped in. With no time to spare, rescuers are forced to pull up the rope. Rochelle manages to hang on as the men slowly raise her to safety.
I just felt like I had to be so strong for those 2.5 hours, and I think I did a pretty good job. But that when they finally hauled me over the top of the roof, I collapsed.
Mother and daughter are safe at last. Thanks to Rochelle's determination and the quick thinking of the rescue workers, she and Sauna survived the devastating fire. Their ordeal has brought Rochelle and Sauna even closer together.
My mom is really my best friend.
Sydney, Australia. A jewelry store surveillance camera captures a brazen daylight robbery. One by one, 3 men armed with machetes rush in, smashing and grabbing everything in sight. They threaten to slash anyone who gets in their way. The thieves ransack case after case, raking in hundreds of precious jewels. The terrified sales clerks take cover behind the counters. The two customers are trapped in the middle of the ambush. They carefully move toward the door, trying not to draw the attention of the bandits. In a mere 75 seconds, the crooks managed to get away with thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. Armed and dangerous, the men are still at large. The New South Wales police gave us this tape, hoping that it will lead to the robbers' arrest. But we found something they didn't. Watch again. The female customer on the right is trying on an expensive ring. When the crooks storm in, she slides the ring off her finger and into her purse. Then she collects her things and looks for a way out. Now look at the customer on the left. She starts to leave, then actually goes back to pick up the jewelry that she was trying on. It only goes to prove that you don't have to be armed and dangerous to pull off a jewelry heist. Kirikali, Turkey. The nation's largest munitions factory has suddenly erupted in flames, sending 200,000 residents running for their lives. Military officials order an immediate evacuation, fearing the fire might reach a warehouse containing tons of liquid explosives. Smoke clouds loom overhead as hand grenades and landmines detonate inside the munitions factory. Shockwaves ripple through the city, forcing terrified residents to flee. Then, without warning, tons of liquid TNT explode in a cataclysmic fireball. A massive mushroom cloud rises a mile into the sky. Panicked townspeople jam the roads in a frantic attempt to escape. Firefighters from all across Europe mobilize to bring the blaze under control. It will be many months before life returns to normal for the people of Kirikali, who saw their peaceful little city transformed into a living hell.
Up next, a deranged driver smashes 15 cars and leads police on a high-speed chase. Plus, a basketball game explodes into the worst riot in Madison Square Garden history. Then later, an entire town races against time to save a helpless baby trapped in a well. When the world's most amazing videos returns.
Ontario, Canada. A TV cameraman is riding along with Officer Brian Wilkinson when an urgent call comes over the police radio.
Dunlop, he hit a motorcycle. He's still northbound. Anybody clear to go to Dunlop?
A deranged man is terrorizing drivers on the highway. Officer Wilkinson gives chase.
The individual had rammed 15 vehicles. 2 of them were motorcyclists, and they ended up with broken arms and legs.
As the officer races through traffic, he spots the suspect, but he can hardly believe his eyes.
The hood was up 90 degrees.
Northbound to 7. Northbound to 7. He's got the hood up. He can't see where he's going. They're trying to box him in.
Violent collision has crumpled the hood of the driver's car. Even though he can't see, he speeds down the road at 110 miles an hour.
One cruiser's been struck. Use extreme caution. One cruiser's been hit.
Up ahead, officers lay down spike strips in an attempt to blow out the suspect's tires. It works. The man slows down, but refuses to stop. It's going to take more than flat tires to end this chase. The police are running out of options.
You know, you ram 15 vehicles, you ram a cruiser, you go over a spike belt, and you're still going. And you're thinking to yourself, like, what do you have to do to stop it?
The officers decide to set up a roadblock.
Watch it, guys, just in case he crosses over the grass with you.
But the suspect sees the trap and steps on the gas. Officer Wilkinson must act quickly, or the driver will crash into the roadblock. The cameraman braces himself for a collision.
Hang on.
The officer rams the suspect's bumper, forcing his car to a stop. Police surround the vehicle as Wilkinson jumps into the front seat and apprehends the driver. 10 officers are needed to subdue the disturbed man and take him into custody. No one knows why the driver went on his destructive rampage. To this day, he remains in custody, refusing to speak. But thanks to the quick thinking of Brian Wilkinson and his fellow officers, innocent lives are spared.
The speed at which he was going, there's going to be serious injury, either to himself or the officers around those cruisers.
Hang on.
We had to bump him, to spin him around, to stop him. It was just luck that it worked out the way it did.
Lokyang, China. A mother is distraught. A father overcome with emotion. And their friends and neighbors are in shock as rescuers try to save the life of their little boy. 2.5-year-old Tommy has fallen into a deep hole at a construction site. Onlookers don't know if he's crying because he is scared or seriously injured. The boy's mother prays for a miracle. The toddler is wedged 40 feet down. His tiny body is painfully contorted. This man is the first to attempt a rescue. He slowly lowered head first into the hole, hoping to pry Tommy loose. But he's too big and can't reach the trembling child. Next, a 10-year-old boy volunteers for the rescue, thinking that his smaller body will fit through the hole. But unfortunately, his shoulders are also too wide. Three agonizing hours later, the rescue team devises a new strategy. They start digging another hole just a few feet away. Once they are deep enough, they plan to tunnel across and free the little boy. But can they reach him before it's too late? As workers dig tirelessly through the night, Tommy grows quiet. No one knows if he is asleep or unconscious. By the next morning, the digging is complete. The rescuers hope for a sign of life. Then a tiny cry is heard. To everyone's relief, Tommy has survived the bitterly cold night. Wasting no time, a rescuer wearing a safety harness is lowered into the freshly dug hole. Meanwhile, Tommy's mother tries to comfort her child. Suddenly, the boy disappears from sight. His mother fears the worst. Thankfully, the rescuer has freed the child. Now they are harnessed together and being lifted out. The crowd is overwhelmed with joy. After an 18-hour ordeal, Tommy is finally safe. His father breaks down in tears when he sees his son. The child suffers a broken leg and is treated at the local hospital. Mercifully, he has survived his horrifying brush with death. New York City. The high school basketball finals have been banned from Madison Square Garden because of a riot that erupted here 25 years ago. But tonight, they're back. In the final seconds of the big game, Robeson High's Todd Miles drives down the court and fires a desperation shot at the buzzer. George Washington High's Floyd Berger tries to block it. But the ball goes in, and Robeson wins the game. The crowd goes wild. But things quickly turn ugly. Hundreds of fans pour out onto the floor. The mindless mayhem is a chilling reminder of the riot that occurred here 2.5 decades before.
Everybody just going crazy. Fighting, kicking, throwing, punching. My high school coach was trying to grab some players. He slides under the chairs.
I thought I was dreaming for a second. Then I finally realized it's for real.
Up in the stands, Floyd's mother, Sadie, looks on in disbelief.
I was real scared because I didn't want my son to get hurt.
Sadie anxiously searches the floor, praying that Floyd is safe. But he is trapped by violent brawlers who are using chairs as weapons.
It was very, very scary.
Amid the chaos, a teenage girl collapses onto the floor. Thankfully, she is rescued before being trampled by the vicious mob. Finally, security forces restore order. Floyd's mother finds her son, unharmed.
And he gave me a big hug, you know, and he started to cry and said that's not how people should act, you know.
When order is restored, 4 security officers are hospitalized and several students are arrested. The following day, Todd and Floyd meet again, this time in an inspiring display of sportsmanship. It should have been a joyous celebration for these high school athletes. Will instead be remembered as a night of terror.
Coming up, a double-decker bus crashes into a single-decker bridge. Plus, a Russian prison riot rages out of control. And this bull is tired of fighting the matador, so he's going after the crowd. When the world's most amazing videos continue.
London, England. Double-decker buses are a common sight on British roadways. And so are low-hanging bridges. But what you've just seen is not an accident. It is part of a public awareness program to remind motorists to drive more carefully.
Fundamentally, we don't believe they register the height of their vehicle and then relate it to the height that's shown on the bridge. And one of our biggest campaign messages is, know the height of your vehicle.
Since bus drivers have long ignored the warning signs on bridges, officials decided to stage the crash to illustrate the problem. They put a camera inside the upper deck of the bus, and with a stuntman at the wheel, sent it plowing straight into the country's most frequently bashed bridge. Officials hope this demonstration will prevent accidents and save lives. Vladimir, Russia. This shocking video was smuggled out of the former Soviet Union. 1,000 violent convicts are rebelling against the inhuman conditions at Correctional Labor Colony number 4. The inmates have escaped from their cells and taken over the prison yard. They destroy a fence and use it to build a barricade. But suddenly, the guards fight back with a water cannon. The force of the blast causes the rebels to retreat. Then they are beaten by the sadistic guards. Later, the convicts are piled into a suffocating mass of humanity. One desperate prisoner attempts to climb over a barbed wire fence. He doesn't make it. After 14 hours, the revolt ends and the inmates are forced back into their overcrowded cells. But thanks to this video, these deplorable conditions are no longer one of Russia's deepest and darkest secrets. Mexico City. The bullfighting season has just begun. The most feared of all the bulls, Charito, enters the ring. But instead of attacking the bullfighter, the deranged beast leaps over a wall and charges into the stands. A spectator tries to duck out of the way, but he gets trapped beneath the crushing weight of the 1,000-pound bull. The crazed creature thrashes his hind legs trying to break free, repeatedly kicking the man in the head. Finally, the bull runs back into the ring. But his victim is not moving. The savage assault fractures 2 of the man's vertebrae, leaving him temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. Miraculously, he makes a full recovery. But this terrifying day will haunt him for the rest of his life. If you have an amazing video, then we want to hear from you. Just send it to World's Most Amazing Videos, Post Office Box 933026, Los Angeles, California, 90093. If we use it, there's a cash reward waiting for you. So send your amazing videos today.
The World's Most Amazing Videos will return. Next on The World's Most Amazing Videos, a stunt goes wrong as a daredevil crashes into a fireball of fury. And a panic-stricken woman falls off a Ferris wheel and lives to tell about it. Plus, a freight train plows into a trailer truck with the driver still trapped inside. And how do you get rid of a 16,000-pound dead whale? Find out next time on The World's Most Amazing Videos.